Everybody, welcome back to your latest Manchester United news. We have a huge update on the midfield stuff and the Ederson deal being closed. We'll talk about what that means for Manchester United, what the news is, some other midfield talks as well. But this is what's being reported on Ederson at the moment. We'll go through in chronological order. We'll have a conversation about the news in some depth. So, what was being reported was from Fabrizio, Ben Jacobs mainly, and this is what they've been said. Ederson's potential arrival at United is not expected to alter the club's plan to sign a marquee signing. United chief have earmarked significant investment to sign Casemiro's replacement. Understand United have had a delegation in Italy in the past few days with Atalanta for Ederson, and they're now closing in on a deal. Manchester United are closing on a deal on a 40 million agreement to sign Atalanta 26-year-old Brazilian midfielder Ederson, who has been a target and is viewed as the ideal successor to Manchester United. He has verbally agreed a 5-year deal. Manchester United also keen on Fernandes and Tchouaméni, both named high on the list. So it looks like we're almost there with the Ederson deal. It's looking like there are still a few things that need to be solved, which is expected, but for large parts of the deal, I think has been done. He's someone who was Manchester United are on course to sign Ederson with the player being committed to becoming the first sign of the Marco Carrick era. Negotiations are ongoing. Sources expect the fee to be 35 plus 3. A full agreement could be reached by the end of the week. So, it seems like he's someone that Manchester United heavily want. They've invested in. I think they've obviously identified him as a player they could bring in and be one of those midfielders. I don't think he's the one that's going to be the Casemiro replacement. Be someone you can bring in quick, get him in before the even window opens, and I think that'd be something that's key for Manchester United to do. I think if we're looking at Ederson, he's a good football player. I think he's someone who might not be my ideal choice, but he's someone who is expected to join Manchester United, and it's a deal that's almost there. I think he's someone who, as a third choice option, can come in certain games, certain profiles, a moment in games he'd be key to have. I think for me, we still need massive improvement in the midfield, and he should not be the only player that United sign. That's the first sort of player to come in. He's not bad. He's someone that United have obviously done a lot of research on because he has been wanted for more than a year. And that's been a fact. He was talked about last summer. I think if you're looking at his age, he's 26. He plays in a 6 or an 8. He does offer that versatility. As I said, 5-year deal. We'll keep him at the club till he's 31. As I said, he might not be sort of your standout player. Your Ederson, your Anderson, your Tchouaméni, those sort of players. But he's someone you can do in. He's good on the ball. I think he's all about improving his squad, and I think he'd be a better improvement than Ugarte. I think he's someone who it'd be interesting to see where he played. I think he would be used at a number 6 position. The whole recruitment team and data team are aligned on the deal. I don't believe it's a case of being undecided. United have obviously done a lot of research there, and again, I think one thing that you can say about Ineos, their recruitment has been good, and on the large parts anyway. Obviously, they've had a few blips. Ugarte probably wasn't the greatest signing, but on the whole, the signings that they made, Mazraoui, Delay, I think they were two very good signings at the time. Yoro's obviously one for the future. Aiden Heaven, someone that was highly rated. Obviously, Xerxes, you could say, was one as well. But other than that, last summer was fantastic. Le Mans, Cunha, Sesko, and Burma was a great window. So I think they do deserve that trust. Obviously, the data team and the scouting team has been massively improved. And I think I'm just waiting to see what Ederson can offer to this team. Obviously, it's going to be a few months before he gets playing for Manchester United. But I think he definitely would be a good option to have. And I'm just excited to get the window going really and see what this guy can really offer. As I said, my 3 midfielders, now it looks like Ederson's going to be that third choice player. But now be going out and getting an Anderson, going out and getting a Tchouaméni, potentially a Matheus Fernandes, which we do have some updates about. What's been said on him is Manchester United tend to move for Matheus Fernandes. His ability to receive the ball all over the pitch and provide completion for Manu has led the club to target him. Sources have suggested that Manchester United is his number 1 choice. So, Matheus Fernandes, you have to look at players who want to join the club. And if everyone watched that interview that Bruno did with Stephen Bartlett, he said, firstly it's about getting a character, but then it's all about getting a player that wants to join the club. And ultimately, it looks like Ederson wants to do that. He told his agent he only wants United. Matheus Fernandes, again, apparently wants to join United, his idol being Bruno Fernandes. So, they want to make a profit on what they bought him for, which was 38 million. I think with West Ham being relegated, I think they get probably 40, 45 million, and at that price, he's an absolute steal. He's a fantastic football player, and that they would be the two that I'd go out and get. And then as your marquee £100 million signing, whatever you want to call it, it would be Anderson for me, and I think that would put that United midfield in a better position to face sort of Champions League European games. You know, Ederson has played in European games. Obviously, Anderson's played in big games. He'll be playing big games in the World Cup, so they are able to deal with the pressure moments. And obviously, Mateus Fernandes is a young up and coming player, but he still played in the Premier League, which is something that's key. So yeah, that's an update. Listen, you can say what you want about Ederson. When he signed for United, you're gonna have to support him. He's 26. 5-year deal, plays as a CDM or a number 8, and I think he would. It's just all about adding quality, and obviously he's someone that has obviously been identified and targeted for a very long time. So he's definitely someone who United do have a lot of interest in. So it'd be interesting to see his impact on this team. I'll be excited to see him in pre-season. This deal is very close to getting done. Probably do expect to hear we go in the next few days. And it's early, you know, United showing their ambition, going to get their targets. Now it's about moving for Anderson, who again is going to be heavily linked to City. But with Pep Guardiola leaving, you never know what can happen. United will be assessing their options in, but it's looking like United are very, very close to getting their first signing under the radar with Ederson expected to come in. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. As I said, he wasn't like my biggest fan, but he's someone who I think on the ball is good. I think he's better than Ugarte. He's a very good passer. He can progress the ball, and I think it's something that United have needed. We need improvement in our midfield, and I think Ederson offers that. So yeah, that's what it's about. The price again is going to be 40 million. I think it's not bad. He's not a 50-60 million pound player, but 40 million I can get on board with that. And now it's all about going and getting the other players to complement and finish that midfield. But it shows United they're ambitious. Early signing window. I don't actually know when the transfer window opens. I think it's June, I believe. So the transfer window opens Monday, June 15th. Yeah, so still not sort of open for another 3-4 weeks or 2-3 weeks. Yeah, anyway. So again, I do expect that deal to get done soon. And I actually don't know if Ederson got called up for the Brazil World Cup squad, because obviously whether that would have a part to play in it or not could potentially affect the deal. But trying to see, obviously Neymar's in there, Vinicius Junior. He is not in there by the looks of it. Bruno G, Casemiro, Danilo, Fabinho, Lucas Paqueta. So it doesn't look like Ederson's in there. So I think that'd be able to get the deal sorted and get him here and ready for pre-season. But yeah, that deal's close.